For the first time since I began teaching myself game development 8 years ago, I feel like I've created something beautiful. The clip at the start of this video isn't long, but my goal in producing it was to evoke a sense of emotion from you, the viewer. Mind you, it's nowhere near polished. Everything from the art, to the camera work, to the lighting, they all need work. And yet, I feel quite proud of this little 2-minute segment. I did all the art myself, and that's saying a lot because I am not a visual person. And so, to start this video, I just want to bask in the glory of having made something cool. Okay, glory basked. I want to spend the rest of this video explaining a little bit of how I built this scene, what future goals are for it, and how I'm planning to achieve those goals. So, with all of that said, hi everyone, I'm JC, and you just watched the opening cutscene to my newest ongoing project, tentatively titled Echoes of the Evensong. So, what is this game? Is it even a game? Echoes of the Evensong is going to be a small, cozy, narrative-driven game about coming of age in a quiet, remote, mysterious little town secreted deep in the wilderness. I originally designed the opening scene to this game as a proof of concept for my Unity-based RPG framework. In a previous video, I briefly demonstrated the basics of how to use that framework, but with this scene, I wanted to demonstrate what you could achieve. Again, the scene still needs some polish, but my hope is that the results speak for themselves. While the framework is still in early development and far from feature complete, I wanted to show just how powerful it already is. However, as I continued working on this scene, the concepts within it grew and evolved in my mind until I realized, hey, I could probably make an actual full game from this. It'll be a short game, but it will be a game nonetheless. So, what went into making this little 2-minute vignette? Well, a lot of groundwork. I spent the last couple months furiously coding away at an RPG framework that not only I could use, but ideally anyone could use who wanted to make an RPG. But let's start after that. I'll eventually make a video on how I designed and coded the framework, as well as how I plan to add additional systems to it. But my goal for today is to demonstrate how I used that framework to build something that I feel proud to share. The first step in building this scene was in deciding what I wanted to make the player feel. Everything from the music, to the lighting, to the colors, to the environmental design were all crafted with this in mind. I decided on a final tone as I was finishing up my first tutorial for using the framework. I'd stumbled across a video by Curious Archive where he discusses what he calls moldy world building. I strongly encourage you to check it out, link in the description. For years, I have been fascinated by the remnants of those who came before, and how we incorporate their ruins into our modern existence. As a teenager growing up in Japan, I was privileged to live in and explore a land steeped in history and legend. Countless years of cultural change had settled across the land like layers of sediments, and with a little digging, you could find fragments of stories both well-remembered and nearly forgotten. Each of these lingering vestiges from the land's storied history became a part of my own story. They were like echoes from ballads long ended, given new life in the chords of a modern symphony. That new song, that new story, is made all the richer by the presence of what came before. Yet with that richness comes a bittersweet sense of melancholy. The remnants of the past are beautiful, yes, but they also represent the countless stories and the countless songs we lost along the way. As I began working on this opening example scene, the desire to create such bittersweet melancholy inspired me to draw the statue of the angelic figure upon the bridge. I took the original complete depiction and added signs of age. I crumbled away features, incorporated foliate overgrowth, and tried to instill a sense of mystery mingled with a sense of loss. As I did so, the idea for a cozy, quiet town began to form in my mind. I began imagining a history for it, began drawing some character sprites, and started outlining some basic plot threads. Why was the player coming to this place? Who were they? What were they escaping by coming here? One of the inspirations for the town's conception was, of course, Stardew Valley. But I'm not trying to make a farming sim with this. It is a narrative-driven, cozy adventure with dating sim elements. Much of the narrative is driven by the characters. There aren't as many external elements driving the plot forward either. Yet, by using these little world-building elements, these fragments of the world's history, my goal is to craft a mystery for the player to solve and, in so doing, hopefully give the protagonist the emotional closure that they seek. Given the thematic and artistic direction I wished to take the game, I had a solid idea of what the opening example scene was going to be. My goal in crafting it was to encapsulate the primary themes of the entire game, honestly, in a single 2-minute segment. It is difficult to put into words exactly what I wanted to make the player feel, but I knew that if I felt something, the player would too. So I opened the scene on a solitary truck, puttering along in the night through the fog, along a forlorn little road with only yellow headlights to show the way. Then I found a royalty-free piece of music called Tender Sentimental Piano by the musician Leberchmas. Sorry if I'm butchering that pronunciation. Again, link in the description. Using my GameFlow control system built on top of the Ink scripting language, I began manipulating the Unity scene so that as the musical piece shifted movements, the claustrophobic forest opened up to a grand stone bridge, with a gently rising sunrise in the background, illuminating a sleepy village far below. This GameFlow control system I developed is designed to be used in conjunction with standard narration and dialogue to create both full-on cutscenes and asynchronous gameplay logic. I specifically built the system in order to be powerful and flexible. For the purposes of this scene, it allowed me to control the camera, the truck, the lighting, the background, the text cards, the music, and more, all with the final goal of achieving my desired themes and emotional resonance. In future scenes, my hope is that it will allow me to craft emotionally compelling narratives with believable characters. The next step will be continuing to work on a series of opening cutscenes while I continue to polish the existing portions of the underlying framework. I'm going to avoid adding whole new features to the system right now and instead focus on using this project as an opportunity to debug and test what's already there, making minor adjustments when needed. Originally, I was just planning to use the scene as an example for my framework. Everything used in this scene, and then some, is available inside my Git repo for developers to examine and use how they see fit. However, if I'm going to commit to actually completing this as a full game, future work on Echoes of the Evensong will take place in a closed source project. The flip side is that any upgrades I make to the framework itself will still be pushed to the open source repo. So as I improve existing tools and craft new ones, I'll continue to release them for others to use. Additionally, I plan for my next video to be a follow-up to my most recent one, which was a tutorial on actually using the framework. If the framework sounds interesting to you, feel free to go check out those videos. I also plan to do a video on how I specifically built the framework at a nitty-gritty nuts and bolts level, as well as how programmers can make additions or contributions to the framework if they wish to. For now, I'm going to keep working on Echoes of the Evensong with the goal of regularly uploading devlogs. The current working goal for the project is to release a playable demo. Upon releasing that demo, I'll decide if I'm going to commit to actually making this into a full game, or if I want to cut my losses and move to a different project. So if you want more content relating to Evensong or to the framework, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. One way to help out is by buying my book. See, in addition to doing game development, I also write and publish high-flying action fantasy novels. My book Benragesh is 3 novels in 1 volume. It's heavily inspired by shonen to the point where the omnibus edition contains 30 pages of original manga art. So if that sounds interesting to you, consider checking it out over on Amazon. The ebook is available through Kindle Unlimited, so if you're subscribed to that program, you can check it out for free. Alternatively, consider supporting me through my Patreon, where videos get uploaded early and where you can find extra exclusive content. Okay, that's enough shilling from me. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, JC out.